Hi, it's Shane from plantbasedrunner.com, and today we're going to talk about airplane etiquette, a big pet peeve of mine. Okay, if you're lucky enough to get on with an act that does a lot of flying, congratulations, because let me tell you, spending hours and hours in a car or a van or whatever gets tiring pretty fast. I mean, you can only, drive through the mountains so many times and be in awe of what your surroundings. After a while, it gets a little boring. So you're on a plane, you've stepped up, you're now flying everywhere. So what is some good etiquette for flying? And trust me, these are huge to a seasoned road musician. So first of all, obviously, if you're on a flying gig, show up on time. Don't be an idiot. Don't give yourself the bare minimum time, because there's so many factors. I've been to airports where the lineup through security is out the door, literally out the door. You're going to miss your flight. That's not cool. And that'll get you fired really quick. People won't put up with that. When you get to the airport on time, lots of time to spare, again, be kind to the staff. I mean, once in a while, I'll admit it, that it gets pretty tense when you're dealing with someone from the airline that maybe doesn't really care about the fact that you need to get someone there somewhere now. You can talk about being a musician all you want and that you have a show that night. Just be kind, because they're dealing with a lot of stressed people, and they're dealing with a lot of BS. And you know what? Sometimes if you're nice, they'll go the extra mile for you. So just show up there, be nice to the airline personnel, and it's not their fault that you're late. It's not their fault that the lineups for security's out the door. They're just trying to do a job. They're just trying to get people going from A to B. So be nice to them. Now, when you get to security, don't wait till the last minute to start preparing to go through the whole X-ray thing and all that. There's nothing worse than being behind someone who comes up and the security is like, "You got a laptop?" "Yep." And then it's like, you gotta wait for them to pull out. I have a backpack with my laptop in it, and as I'm waiting, I'm holding it. It's open. I'm ready to pull the laptop out and make the whole process a lot faster. They'll ask you if you got liquids or gels, all that kind of stuff. Be ready with an answer. Don't be going, let me check and all this stuff, because it just ties things up. So just be alert, be ready. Get your laptop out, get your liquids and gels out, and make the process go smooth, not just for you, but for the people behind you and for the staff too. They don't want to have to stand there and wait for someone to, figure out what they have and what they don't, because their job is to get people through security too. So just don't. Okay, so you made it through. Woohoo! Now, every airline that I've flown on has zones. So you're zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, up to 5 I've been. And know your zone, and don't block the entrance. I've seen so many times where someone in zone 3, when they call zone 1, they rush up there because they think they're going to, when their number's called, they're going to be first on the plane, and usually they got too much luggage. That's their whole reason why they're doing that. So just listen. You know what? Whether you like it or not, everybody is as important as you that's getting on that flight. Everybody's paid for a ticket. Just listen. Show up when your zone is called, and be patient. Just be patient. Oh, airports are horrible for the impatient people, and don't be one of them. Don't add to the stress already. You know what? Yeah, people remember the jerks that are in line, but don't be memorable as far as that is. Be memorable for being nice. Um, Listen, one of the things. So you're get to the plane and you get this constant the flight attendants are on the mic going, please don't block the aisle, step into your row, and then get yourself ready for whatever you need, pull out your bag, whatever you need. Do that. There's so many people that I see that get to their seat and they plop down their suitcase and they slowly take off their jacket and look around, and then they open up their bag for their laptop or their headphones or their charger. Don't do that. Keep your charger and everything really handy. I pull it out beforehand, put it in my pocket. If I need my laptop again, it's right there. I pull out, put it on my seat, throw everything up top, get into the aisle. Just listen. Airlines are on a tight schedule, and if you're the guy that holds things up, you might cause everybody to miss their takeoff time, which means now you have to get back in the airplane has to get back in the queue, and now it might be an extra hour. And if you've got connecting flights or someone has connecting flights, you can really screw that up for people. So just make it as streamlined as possible and as quick as possible, because there's always going to be people that there may be first time flyers, or they don't fly often and they don't really realize that they're taking up a lot of time, and everybody just wants to get to their seat. So just make it really streamlined and really quick. And now if you're the kind of person that needs, if it's a long haul and you need sleep, maybe invest in a neck pillow, one of those blow up things that go around your neck, or eye shades or something like that, or figure out something that'll make you a little more comfortable. I've spent a lot of time sleeping sitting up on a plane, van, whatever. And at one time I've invested in neck pillows and eye shades and all that, and they do help. Now I tend to be able to sleep without them, which is a great thing, because it's always less stuff to bring. And but if you're the kind of person that needs that, make sure you have it, and make sure you have it ready. And again, don't stuff it in your carry-on and then try to figure it out while you're standing there while people are behind you. Please don't do that. And another big thing, and so many people do this and it drives me nuts, is okay, you're in your seat, you have little armrests, use them to stand up. Unless you're maybe you're elderly, or you have a physical disability, use those things to push up. Don't grab the back of the seat from the person in front of you and yank yourself up, because so many times I've been almost asleep and someone grabs that seat and yanks themselves up, and it's just awful. It's not necessary, like I said, unless you have an actual physical disability, or you're elderly, let's say, and your legs don't work that much. Use your darn armrest. I can't believe I have to say that, but it happens on every flight. I see it all the time. I have it happen to me where people just grab that back of the seat, pull themselves up with no regard to the person sitting in the seat in front of you. So please don't do that. That's a huge pet peeve for me. Now, when you're checking in, of course, you have to check in 24 hours ahead of time, or if you're status, you can do it earlier than that. But have a choice of window or aisle. And I don't know anybody that ever wants a middle seat. But if you're flying with friends, of course, you can take the middle seat so you're all together. But there are times when I feel like having a window seat. If I'm on a long haul and I want to sleep, if it's a red eye or something like that, I'll always go for a window so you can lean ahead. And then if I'm on a short haul, or if it's a long haul where I'm not going to sleep, I'll always take the aisle, because if you need to get up and stretch, or if you need to go up and use a washroom, you're not bothering anybody. And I tend to like to get up every once in a while just to stretch my legs. So it's nice not to have to bother the person beside you. And you know what? If you have to get out, you have to get out, and everybody realizes that. But there's nothing worse than having a window seat and then having to pee, and you look over and the two people beside you are sound asleep, and you're like, I have to wake these people up. So, and don't drink a bunch of liquid before you get on, because unless you got an aisle seat, okay? Because then you're probably going to have to disturb someone. So try not to do that. just know what you need. If you need sleep and you're good with a window, that's a perfect place. If you need sleep but you're going to get up every now and then, take an aisle. And if you get a middle seat, well, that's just the way it goes. Check in earlier and don't get a window seat. Carry-on luggage. Oh boy, there's nothing worse. Actually, no, I shouldn't say there's nothing worse. It's bad, but it's also sometimes enjoyable when you see that one person or few people get on with too big a carry-on. Now, they have sizing things at the gate for a reason, and if your luggage is too big to fit in that sizing thing, it's probably not going to fit on the plane. So you can talk to the airline folks, and usually they will put it underneath for free and not charge you a baggage fee because you've gotten that far. But there's nothing worse than sitting there and the time's ticking and you know you got a tight connection and there's that person trying to put it in the overhead, turning it around, trying to put it in the overhead, and it's clearly too big, trying to squish it down, put it over the head. Just take what you need on board, and if you have to, I know it costs money, but if it's not going to fit, it's not going to fit. Don't try to pull a fast one because they'll always catch you, and by then you've wasted a bunch of the airline's time and a bunch of the time for the people on board, and they're not going to be happy with you. Another thing is layovers. They're a thing. Very rarely do I get a gig where I get one flight somewhere. It's usually you have to make a connection somewhere. And boy, if you've had a gig the night before and you didn't get to bed till 1 and your wake up call was 3 a.m. and you're tired and everything like that, and you got a hour or two layover, that's dangerous because you can tend to find a corner and fall asleep. If you've got friends with you and you know they're not going to sleep, go have a nap. But I always just end up walking around the airport just so I don't miss my flight. So that's one of the worst things. So don't assume that you can nod off for a few minutes because chances are you're going to miss your connection, and that's never good. That's another way to lose a gig. If you do an international, that's a whole different ballgame. I'm based in Canada, so if I'm playing the U.S., my local airport has U.S. Customs right there, so I get all that over with at the beginning of the flight. So if there's any problems, you deal with it there. But for international travel, sometimes, like if I'm going to Europe, the customs for the country is usually in their country at the airport. So be prepared for that. Again, if you need paperwork, make sure you have it at hand. You're not digging around for it because any delay is just an excuse for them to haul you into secondary screening and make your day maybe a little less fun than it normally would. And speaking of paperwork, know the country you're going to. Absolutely know it. For me to work in the U.S., definitely have to have a visa and make sure everything's in proper order with my passport. I know people that will try to sneak into the country. This is never a good thing. Never. Don't do it. And I tell you why. Because you'll never work in that country again if you try to sneak in without the proper paperwork. And I've seen lots of people do it, and most people can get away with it, but there's always that one story. And I know for the US, you will be banned from entering, not just for work, but entering for, I think, 5 years. But here's the thing. After 5 years, I don't know anybody that could still get in the country. They still get denied. And the only way around that is to hire a lawyer and try to get everything changed. But you don't get a second chance on that. If you get caught, that's it. You'll never work in that, especially the United States. You'll never work there again. You'll never get another visa. You'll never probably visit because that's always going to be on your permanent record, and it's always going to be a red flag whenever you try to go there. So do yourself a favor. I know visas are expensive. I know they're a pain in the butt to do, but what's worse, not being able to go down and play down there, or whatever the country that you're going to be playing in. Don't try to sneak it in. Some countries, you know your country. Some you have to have visas for. Some you just have to declare why you're there. Everyone is different. With the internet, you can go on and find out all that information, and you know, just follow their rules, and it'll be fine. And even if you do get taken into secondary for questioning, you've done nothing wrong. You've got your paperwork. You've got everything with you that says you're working. And if a visa is not needed, then that just have the information on the show that you're doing, or the list of shows you're doing. A lot of times they're just double checking. A lot of times they're curious. You know, it's their job. So it's nothing personal. It's just they're checking you out. And a lot of times I've been taken into secondary just to check, see if everything's in order and that I'm not doing anything illegal. And secondary is not a big deal. I mean, every time I get told I have to go to secondary, yes, of course, my blood pressure goes up a little bit, because you always think, oh, geez, you know, what's going to happen? But I tell you what, if you've got all your paperwork together, it's a breeze. And you might get that odd person that works for customs that's going to give you a grilling, but if you're doing nothing wrong, then you don't have to worry. There's nothing. I've seen people pulled into secondary that don't have their paperwork. That's not a good place to be. You see people sweat then. So do not try to sneak into a country to play. It's just not worth it. And make sure you have all your paperwork. And that'll ensure that you'll be going back for years. And I tell you what, it's great to play locally, and it's great to play in your own country, but there's nothing like traveling around the world. And the best thing about this job is a lot of times you see a big chunk of the world, and somebody else pays for your plane ticket, and somebody else pays for your hotel and transportation, and you get to see a lot of the world that people don't. And you also get to find places in the world that you want to return to, and some places you don't want to. So that's a great perk of this business, is the travel, and seeing other parts of the world, and seeing other players, and meeting people. And don't have that taken away from you just because you thought you could sneak across a border to do a quick gig somewhere. Make sure you got your paperwork. It's 100% worth it. Okay, there you go. That's a little bit more than airplane etiquette, but at least take those ones to heart, because they drive me and the people I play with absolutely crazy when people don't adhere to that etiquette. It just makes a lot of people's days a lot harder. So do your bit and make it easy for yourself and for everyone around you. All right, see you in the next video. Hey, if you like this video or any of the others I've done, hit that subscribe button. And if you're looking for bass lessons, head on over to my website, plantbassrunner.com. Go to my contact page, send me a note. We'll work something out. Thanks for watching.